Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're diving knee deep into all things knee braces. But before we really get into it, I'm just gonna put a quick disclaimer because you just never know who's gonna sue me or what trouble I'm gonna get if people follow some of my advice. So, quick disclaimer. Now that I've covered my ass, let's tackle the burning question as to whether knee braces are worth it. And from my perspective, I better hope they are because I did spend about almost $800 on these. So I've had them now for going on 6 months now and have used them quite extensively. So let's jump on right into it. Now, the initial spark for purchasing these wasn't because I suffered a knee injury. The thing that got the ball rolling on the idea was actually my brother, who tore his ACL, again, not on a motorcycle accident, but playing soccer of all things. And I could just see how debilitating that was and how much of a pain it was to recover from. So I was already thinking, oh, maybe I should look at knee braces for motorcycle riding because tearing your ACL is quite common in certain accidents. And I know that I knew that knee braces could make a difference, but I wasn't 100% sold. And then I go and break my foot, which again is unrelated to the knee, but it kind of showed how vulnerable or, it was the first major incident that I had on a motorcycle where I actually hurt myself and had to go through 2 months in a moon boot, non-weight bearing for a long time. And that really got me thinking about my protection. And I thought, you know what, I just need to overhaul pretty much everything. So I upgraded the boots and then knee braces came along. So I'm actually going to talk about the negatives first because some of these things were what were initially turning me off purchasing them. And the first one that you hear quite often is that they reduce your mobility and your ability to maneuver around the bike. I'm gonna say with that one, it's kind of bullshit, to be honest. Look, when you first put them on, you do notice the extra bulk a little bit, and it does feel foreign, but your body just adapts to it. Like riding in general is muscle memory, reacting to how you take on an obstacle and how the bike feels when you go over an obstacle. And the more you wear the knee braces, the more your body adapts to it, and it almost feels like you're not even wearing them after a few rides. You don't even notice it. Yeah, like I mentioned, I reckon that one's kind of a load of horse crap. I don't think that's a reason not to get it. I think you can be just as skillful a rider and not have it affect your mobility by wearing them if you weren't wearing them, and that's proved by the fact that pros do wear these. So let's forget about that one. Don't let that stop you. Now, the one that did really kind of concern me is the people talking about that it can break your femur. Now, I'm no medical expert. I looked at some studies, but I'm just gonna look at this logically, all right? So, what does it do? Well, let's say you land and all this load gets transferred to your knee. The knee brace will lock out, all right? And it'll stop the hyperextension. So it only makes sense that, yes, additional force will be transferred at the bottom here and at the top. And the one that you're really concerned about is breaking the femur because it sits like this. Extra force is on the femur. Now, from my research and from what I've seen on forum posts, early designs potentially led to breaking your femur because of that extra load. Now, that's not to say that if you weren't wearing it, that you were not gonna break your femur in that case. Like for that kind of load in an accident, who knows what's gonna happen. But the thing is these days, and specifically with the pods, is that they're designed to actually let go if the force is great enough to actually break your femur. So they use like an artificial ligament here, and it is replaceable. They do recommend that you replace it every so often. I don't actually know what that time period is. But they do recommend you replace it. But pretty much what happens is, if the force is too great and, it's gonna snap your femur or your tibia, it'll actually let go at the joint and allow that movement. So other companies, I'm pretty sure, have similar mechanisms in place, but the artificial ligament pod really, I think, pioneered that as far as I can tell. And from my point of view, that gives me enough comfort to know that, all right, I'm probably not gonna break my femur. And just on that, yes, breaking your femur can be, or your tibia, because that can also happen, can be gruesome. Like, I'm pretty sure people can die because it can nick an artery or something. But let's just say it causes a fracture. A bone will heal a lot faster than ligaments, especially ligaments in your knee. Like, those injuries can persist for years if you don't get surgery. And even after you get surgery, things are never the same. Like, I tore my pec, I've gone through a soft tissue injury and had it reattached, and you know, I'm back at 100%, but things just don't feel normal. And that, again, anecdotally from what I've heard with the ACL reconstruction and all that, it's never the same. But with bone fractures and breaks, you know, you're back at 100% a lot sooner than you are if you were to tear a ligament or a tendon. So that's just something to think about. So I've kind of talked about, you know, knee braces in general, and kind of mentioned things that were a little bit specific to the pods, but let me get into really what I just think about these ones in particular. And I'll put them on first. They're super easy to put on. This is the right one, I'm pretty sure. Yep, right knee brace. You've got 4 straps. They're even numbered to tell you which ones to do up first. So I believe it's this one. You just wrap that one around through a loop. Then number 2. Then I believe this one's number 3. No, 4. So this one then. So this one I've already kind of got preset at a tension that I know is good for me, but you can adjust that, make it tighter. And 4. There we go. That is on. You can see here. Like, for me, the very first time I put them on, you know, I felt, oh, this feels a bit weird. Now it actually feels normal. Like, I'm ready to go riding. Now, what I will say is that there has been a bit of trial and error with working out just how tight to do the straps, because too tight on the middle ones and you'll start to get chafing and bruising, which I was getting on the back of my calf. Too tight on the top and bottom ones, especially the bottom one, is you'll start to get like not bruising, but like an indent in your shin because it digs in. Part of that is also its placement. So I found that you want it quite high up. So again, everyone's legs and knees are different. And something that I like that Pod's done is that there are these interchangeable pads. Let's pull this one out. There are these pads that you can put in and get it more snug on your knee, and they vary in thickness and size. So that's a well thought out idea. And yeah, they do come in different sizes. Like the structure itself, I believe I use a medium large. Go to a store and get a professional to fit it for you. Like, I mean, you can look up online and stuff, but if your local store has a guy that's knowledgeable in knee braces, then that's the best way you're gonna get a good fit. There's not too much else to say about the Pod K4s. I don't know if I even mentioned that, but these are the Pod K4s. They do the K8s, which is the carbon model, which is a bit lighter, but I'm pretty sure offers the exact same level of protection. So if you want to save a bit of money, go with the K4s. But yeah, like, I've crashed in them numerous times now. I was going to say touch wood, but there's no wood around me. But so far, so good. My knees haven't been blown out, and hopefully that remains the case. I'm not going to say that's always going to prevent it. I've read anecdotal stories that, you know, people still have had injuries and knee injuries, but anything I can do to limit it, I'll do it. And when it comes to adventure riding, I mean, that's the title of the video. Should you use these for adventure riding? And yes, I really think you should, because I guess it depends on the type of adventure riding. Like, there's people that adventure tour where you might just be doing gravel roads. And there I would say it's less necessary. You're less likely to come off. And if you do come off, you're probably coming off at a higher speed. But if you like to tackle technical terrain, hill climbs, rocky sections, more enduro style, especially if you've got a dual sport, like I've got my WR250R, I love taking this through technical stuff, then I think the knee braces make a lot of sense, especially because you're doing those slow speed obstacles where you're more likely to come off awkwardly, put a foot down and need that extra support. Not only that, say you're on a big adventure and you're in the middle of nowhere, example, the Simpson Desert, where it's common to come off in the sand. You don't want your trip ruined because you've blown out your knee. Maybe this is the differentiator between blowing out your knee and not. They aren't the most comfortable things to walk around in, and you know, there is that part of adventure riding where you're going on a hike, you're stopping at a store for lunch. There is where there's a negative, but you know, if you're doing a long multi-adventure, there's no reason why you can't strap these down to the bike and put them on after, once you've reached your destination to do the off-roading. And when it comes to, you know, sitting at a lunch table, you just need to suck it up and just think about all of the protection that you're getting. Well, I hope the video was helpful, guys. Give it a like if it was, and if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.